Okay, you've done some good work using geometry and the sine rule to find some of the sides and angles in this stained glass window. And now you're needing to find the total area of the shape. So what we got to do here is we're going to be using this formula up here. Area equals 1/2 BC sine A. So let's break the shape up into 3 triangles. We'll call them A, B, and C. So let's start with A. So the important thing to remember when you're using the area formula is that, well, let's say we're going to use this angle 88.87, that use the 2 sides that are branching away from that angle. In other words, 88.87 is the included angle. So let's do that substitution. A equals 1/2, and then we're going to pick the 2 sides that are adjacent to my angle. So we got 0.836 and 0.747. And we're going to multiply by the included angle. That's really important. So that's 88.87. Okay, then we go to the calculator, and we're going to go ahead and do this calculation. So we've got 0.5 times 0.836 times 0.747 times the sine of 88.87. And that gives us 0.312. So now it doesn't say it on this diagram, but these measurements are all in meters. So our area is going to be 0.312 square meters. Okay, that's it for triangle A. And now triangle B is done the same way. So we've got area equals 1/2. Now let's use the given angle. Whenever you can, use given information, and that way you won't proceed with a calculation that could possibly have an incorrect calculation in there. I know 9113 is correct because it was given to me in the original problem. So I've got to pick the sides which are next to this 9113, and they are 1.082 and 0.836. So here we go. We've got 0.836 and 1.082, and we're going to multiply that by the included angle, 9113. And then I'm off to the calculator, and we've got 0.5 times 0.836 times 1.082 times the sine of 9113. And that all gives me 0.452. 0.452 square meters. Okay, now I've saved C for last because there's a problem over in C. You'll notice that, well, we don't have any angles. So how are we going to use area formula for triangles with the sine of an angle when we don't have any angles? And, well, you can't. Yeah, you're going to have to use, that's why we've included this down here, cosine rule for angle. This is what you use when you know 3 sides of a non-right angle triangle and you need to find one of the angles. So we're going to have to use this cosine rule for angle first before we do the area formula for triangles. So let's say we're looking for this angle here, and we're going to use the cosine rule for angles to find this angle. Well, you got to make sure that you treat this as the included angle between 1.23 and 1.11. So that's going to be your B and your C, and your A is going to be this total here. Well, let's see what that is. We've got 0.747 and 1.082, and that gives us 1.829. So let's put that down over here. This side is 1.082, 1.829. And now we're ready to substitute into our formula. We'll say cosine, I'm going to call it h, since that's the vertex at that angle. And I'm going to use the two adjacent sides, so it's 1.23 squared plus 1.11 squared minus the opposite side squared. So that's where the 1.829 comes in. And then this is all over 2 times b times c. So that's just going to be 2 times 1.23 times 1.11. All right, and now we're just going to go to the calculator and do this calculation. So I'm going to put everything in the numerator and brackets so that I can then divide by the denominator. So we've got 1.23 squared plus 1.11 squared minus 1.829 squared. And then I'll hit the bracket to finish my numerator. And then I'm going to divide, and I'll put everything in my denominator in its own brackets. And that's 2 times 1.23 times 1.11. And this is going to give me negative 0.2198. Now, what is that? Well, that's just your ratio. Don't be alarmed that it's negative. Values for sine and cosine can range between -1 and 1. So we wouldn't be surprised to see a cosine which is negative 0.218. That just means that our angle is between 90 and 180, which if you look at this diagram, it looks like it is. It looks like it's over 90. And that's why we have a negative ratio for our cosine. So now all you got to do is keep that value in your calculator, and all we're going to do is do the inverse cosine. So to do that, we got to shift cosine and then just answer, and that's going to refer back to the previous answer that you had, which was the negative 0.2198. And we can see, well, we've got 102.7. So angle H is 102.7 degrees. I could write that in over here if I like as well. And now I've got enough information, I can go to the area rule. And here I go. Area equals 1/2. I'm going to use the adjacent sides, so that's 1.23 and 1.11, and then sine of this angle that I just calculated, 102.7, and I do that on the calculator. 0.5 times 1.23 times 1.11 times the sine of 102.7, and I get 0.666 square meters. And now I found the individual areas of each of these three triangles, so I can just add them up, and I'll do that. I'll just keep that one in there and add the other two. So plus 0.312 and 0.452. And I've got a total of that I will round to 1.43. So total area 1.43 square meters. Now I believe it says something in the task about verifying that the area is greater than 1.5 square meters. So obviously you can see it's not greater than that. So I think in this context it means that the glazier won't take the job. So that's how you use the area formula for non-right angled triangles. I hope this was helpful. Thanks. Bye.